By the time of the First Order's emergence from the unknown regions, roughly 30 years after the fall of the Galactic Empire, their navy boasted a fleet of immensely powerful and modern capital ships. Chief among the First Order's fleet was the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer, also known as a battlecruiser. But although Resurgent-class ships, such as Kylo Ren and General Hux's Finalizer, were unlike any capital ship that came before it, its designs were heavily dependent upon the Star Destroyer designs used within the Republic's Venator-class and the Empire's Imperial-class Star Destroyers. In this video expose, I will describe how the First Order utilized the Venator and Imperial designs within the Resurgent-class Star Destroyers. Although the First Order built their Resurgent-class capital ships to ultimately be a replacement for the Empire's Imperial-class Star Destroyers, they were still heavily influenced by the designs of the heavily respected ships used within the Imperial Navy. It's clear that the First Order was inspired by the dagger-shaped design and other physical features of the Imperial-class, as the First Order openly adopted these features into their own Resurgent-class Star Destroyers. But there was more to the adoption of the visual components of the Empire's Imperial-class than mere aesthetics or manufacturing concerns. The First Order wanted to imitate the psychological factors that were present within the Imperial design. This was crucial for the Resurgent-class design due to the insufficient resources available to the First Order, and thus the inability to construct a massive number of capital ships. As a symbol of the First Order's power, they designed the Resurgent-class Star Destroyers to evoke fear connected to the era of when the Empire ruled the galaxy with an iron fist, thereby inspiring awe and dread in their enemies. In order to create this psychological result, the First Order were openly attempting to emulate much of the designs of the Imperial-class Star Destroyer. Therefore, the lessons of Imperial might and the projection of power through fear was not lost upon the designers of the First Order's capital ships. But outside of these psychological factors deployed by the First Order, they also emulated the designs of the Imperial-class Star Destroyers by continuing the Empire's dedication to larger vehicles and more firepower. The Imperial-class made a distinct breakaway from the capital ships that preceded it, particularly with the Venator-class, focusing on making their vessels as large as possible with enormous firepower. Whereas the Venator-class Star Destroyer was 1,155 meters in length and boasted 8 heavy turbo-laser turrets, the Imperial-class was 1,600 meters and was outfitted with 60 heavy turbo-laser batteries. Taking inspiration from the Empire's push for size and firepower, the First Order built their Resurgent-class ships to be 2,916 meters in length with over 1,500 turbo-lasers and ion cannons, again hoping to emulate the psychological superiority of the Imperial-class. The fact that the First Order's Resurgent-class Star Destroyers shared many similarities with the designs of the Empire's Imperial-class Star Destroyers shouldn't be too surprising. These two vessels shared a similar manufacturing lineage. The Empire's Imperial-class was manufactured and produced by Kuat drive yards on the planet of Kuat. However, after the fall of the Empire, Kuat drive yards spawned a new manufacturing corporation known as Kuat Intrala Engineering, and it was Kuat Intrala who would manufacture the Resurgent-class vessels for the First Order. With the Imperial-class Star Destroyer representing a significant change from the Venator-class style of capital ship, and with the First Order utilizing the designs of the Imperial-class to such a large degree, it might seem like the Resurgent-class and the Venator would have nothing in common. This would be an erroneous conclusion, as the limited resources that forced the First Order to emulate the psychological and firepower designs of the Empire's Imperial-class also pushed them to adopt designs from the Venator-class as well. Because the First Order lacked the resources to build and crew thousands upon thousands of Star Destroyers like the Empire could, they had to adopt a new naval doctrine that accepted the importance of starfighters within their overall strategy. In this way then, the Resurgent-class adopted the carrier-focused designs of the Republic's Venator-class Star Destroyer. First Order vessels like the Finalizer were highly effective Starfighter Carriers. This was because the Resurgent-class Star Destroyers adopted important elements that were utilized by the Venators, such as a dorsal flight deck, side hangars, and a prominent keel. These features truly signified the renewed appreciation among the tacticians of the First Order for capital ships' role as Starfighter Carriers, and therefore, their designs had to borrow from the designs of the Venator and not Imperial-class Star Destroyers, given that the Empire completely moved away from any carrier-based designs. Because of these similarities with the Venator's designs, the First Order's Resurgent-class Star Destroyers were able to quickly launch their full complement of starfighters quicker than the capital ships of the Imperial Navy. Therefore, in finding a new role for starfighters within their naval doctrine, the First Order relied heavily upon the designs of the Republic's Venator-class Star Destroyers. So there we have it, how the First Order used Venator and Imperial designs within their own Resurgent-class capital ships. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me, for design similarity.